exhibition match before heading into the off-season. So let's go ahead and meet the teams. On the blue side, it is Echo Fox Academy with Nintendo X in the top lane, Spica in the jungle, Yusui mid lane, Cake bottom, support Mabry, and Coach Peter.
Yep. And loading, there's your Echo Fox roster, of course, on your screen now. And then loading onto the other side of the rift, on the red side, it will be Golden Guardians Academy. They'll have Zig up in the top lane, Potluck in the jungle, Bobchin in the mid lane, Benji bot, supported by Sheep, with Coach Mango.
Now, many of you might already know this, but regular season Academy games are played over the online tournament realms, which afford us some unique opportunities. So we're going to try something different for this game by skipping Champion Select to get you back into the action just a little bit sooner, which is going to happen right now.
Yeah, but first we're going to take a quick look at the Champ Select that happened off camera. And so, of course, you have, very interestingly, Graves first pick. We got the Heimer Fiddle bot lane of all things, which is a beautiful comp. And then as well as the Rumble and Aurelia means they're going to be fighting a lot on Echo Fox's side. And then the other team, pretty standard. Orianna, Thresh, Caitlyn.
Heimer Fiddle is interesting to me specifically because it's being picked against Golden Guardians, which is the team that plays the most of this in the LCS stage. This is the team that adapted it the best from Rift Rivals, where Europe came over and said, hey, here's Heimerdinger.
Yeah.
And we didn't respond very well to it. It is a very powerful bottom lane. It does a lot of damage. It's hard to gank. You can accidentally kill your own dudes trying to gank these guys. It's very difficult.
Yeah, Caitlyn has the range to hopefully deal with it all right, though the Crow will still be annoying. But the Thresh, I'm more worried about working in that lane because Heimer can always just drop a turret in front of a hook if you ever try and throw one at him. And it leads to a situation where the Thresh doesn't really ever hook him, and then hopefully the Fiddle is playing well behind minions and things like that. And it can be very hard for the Thresh to function in this, though I'm excited to see what the Caitlyn can do, especially with the buffs coming in, if she can still get her items without getting completely shut down by this lane. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And with that, let's get into game!
Oh, baby. We'll see this game erupt in just a couple of moments, but
there we go.
I really like seeing Summoner's Rift.
Game!
Yeah, not me and Mark anymore. But we are back onto Summoner's Rift, and I like seeing Fiddlesticks and Heimer combination because for those who aren't aware, you almost always see these two champions picked as a duo in bottom lane. When Heimer's picked, Fiddle's picked right next to him because Fiddle makes it so Heimerdinger cannot miss his grenade. The Heimerdinger player, as long as he knows where the enemy guy is when he gets feared, just point and click that same exact spot.
Oh, he's late!
Now, oh no, first blood goes over to Golden Guardians, a nicely aimed hook from Sheep. Puts the Heimerdinger in the grave.
Yeah, and Cake was slow putting down the turret, so the hook was actually able to get there in time.
You hate to see that, Mark.
Yeah, hate
really
to see that. And he didn't use a flash. No one used any summoners, actually, so that's just a free hundo gold for Sheep. He'll grab his boots. He'll come back to lane.
Hundo? It's 4 hundo.
4 hundo, excuse me.
Yeah. 1 hundo doesn't afford any
It
boots.
wasn't even right for a normal kill. I don't know what I was thinking when I said hundo.
Well, I mean, okay, the hundo's the first blood bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what you were thinking,
his
Mark.
extra
Come on.
hundo. Yeah, either way, that's a nice start by Golden Guardians, though I'm not sure if it'll impact the laning phase at all. I think for the most part, we'll be able to see if this plays out the same way.
See what Potluck can do on this Trundle going up against the Graves. Remember, this is kind of a sense of deja vu here, Mark. It's almost like we just got done watching this matchup. And in the last time we saw this matchup, Trundle absolutely ran over the game with the rest of his team, and Graves was unable to find a lot of success.
Yeah, so here's this first blood again. Benji's going to finish this off, and while he's kind of attacking Cake and making him have to go slow, they're going to run right around to get the wraparound here. The walk forward was a little greedy to drop that, and then you see the turret just coming in a little bit too late as he already dropped the other one in the brush. Does go down for that, and I'm a little interested to see these lane matchups because Aurelia versus Jace way back before Aurelia got reworked, she was actually a good pick into it. Not sure that still holds true, and instead it's going to be the Rumble versus the Jace. And kind of similar to the last game, this is going to be probably a pretty jungler-influenced matchup because usually the Jace is trying to play very aggressively in almost all of his matchups, and Zig is a good Jace. So if Spica actually goes up there and influences that, Potluck is not able to do so, it can easily turn the other way around.
That's the nature of the game with so many of these top laners like Jace or like something super aggro like Quinn, where they have to play aggressively to justify the pick at all. the top is jungle difference meme becomes more relevant than ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because if your jungler doesn't want to help you, you're pretty much just having a miserable lane.
Yeah, and you see early on kind of a similar thing where the red side jungler starts on his red and does his kind of full clear down there. This time, instead of backing or going for anything else, Pollock's actually going to run across the map to try and contest this, as they did spot him on these Krugs with that ward over the wall. They're going to try and collapse on the Spica here.
Spica, the target at the beginning of this one, wants to get himself over the wall, does dash away, doesn't even have to spend the summoner spell getting out.
Nope, does get deterred though, and Zig will be able to keep kind of working away on this top lane. So not much going on there, about even farm. Here in the bot lane, does feel like the Caitlyn pick is doing pretty well in dealing with these turrets and everything, so not bad early on.
Orianna will just keep shoving the Irelia in. During the early laning phase here, Bobchin takes a little bit of damage from Yusui and finds a good opportunity to jump in there with the stun. Corrupting Potion, of course, will just keep on ticking and healing him up to make sure that he doesn't suffer too much from this constant range harass. And this lane dynamic will change once Yusui feels like he has the all-in potential he needs to really threaten this Orianna. Up until then, you're kind of just playing the try to avoid as much damage as possible and keep the farm numbers up.
Yeah, and Yusui was a very strong Aurelia player back when it was a little bit more prevalent in the early part of the split. He was having great performances on it, so it's good to see him back with that small buff that came in. But I'm going to be curious to see what he does. He did take Press the Attack, which I don't think we saw on the other Aurelia. I think he was still taking Conqueror? I'm not exactly sure now that I'm trying to think back on it. What rune the earlier Aurelia was playing with. Remember what Viper had?
I do not remember exactly.
Bummer. Oh well.
R.I.P. Sheep.
Oh,
To
there's
make
the
a
turret.
sentence, there's the turret coming down. As the Crow will bounce back and forth between those guys. Benji taken down to about 200 HP. These guys were playing pretty far up. You saw the aggressive trap placement when Potluck was hanging around just to make sure it would be a fair fight, even if Spica came bottom. But they're quickly given a dose of reality as some of the damage connects from their opponents. Potluck going to be found out there by the control ward placed down by Spica, and he doesn't want anything to do with this 1v1 right now.
Nope, as is usually the case in the Graves Trundle matchup. Trundle relies a lot on getting a chomp off to steal the AD and bully people.
Can't do that.
Very hard to do that to Graves.
Yeah.
The range.
He'll just kite around, put a few shotgun shells into you by the time that you even have the chomp, if you can land it at all, and woof, bad fight.
Yeah. So, of course, with the Scuttle Crab showing up down there, both junglers arrive, and Pollock very quickly concedes it over. And the bot lane trade kind of got control of that lane, as we see. Here we go, Zig getting aggressive in the top side.
Zig finding some advantage there in that 1v1, but Nintendude throws down the equalizer, finds both harpoons, wants to look for even more damage, will not go any further underneath the enemy turret. But Nintendude on this Rumble, now that he's got level 6, when we look at top laners and we think about the ability to TP in and influence the rest of the map, level 6 Rumble is a lot scarier than level 6 Jace.
Yeah, and of course, he will not actually be hoping to TP in very much as the Jace, though he does have it. He'll hope to keep that 1v1 pressure up on the top side so the Rumble cannot TP. We'll have to see if that happens as we are back on your screen.
Considering we're back on your screen, it means there's also probably some technical difficulties with the game behind us. We'll get you some information on that as soon as we possibly can. Try to get us back in the game as quickly as possible, but we're just getting to the part of the game where things can get spicy. I was just starting to anticipate Rumble teleports. I was just looking forward to some bigger ultis, some fights.
Yeah, I think I was really looking forward to that too. Sadly, we didn't get it. The bot lane is another one that at 6 can suddenly start changing a lot as the Heimer continues to find huge abilities as well as the Fiddlesticks, whereas the Caitlyn ultimate is not really a strong laning tool. Like, you can kind of ult on cooldown to harass, but that's about it. That's not even that much stronger at that point than landing like a Q auto combo or anything. So it was starting to turn a little bit. There was one good trade where they were able to block the hook, and then they got the bouncing Crow with the W from the Heimer. And I want to see that lane not lose. As far as I'm concerned, the Fiddle Heimer lane is still supposed to be like the triple A+, no one ever beats it rated bot lane, but it didn't start that way.
Well, it looks like our issue in game right now is a small lag issue that we will hopefully be able to hop back into game very soon once it is taken care of. But yeah, the bottom lane, it is interesting because you talk about how Caitlyn, yeah, the ulti shows up. You kind of use it to poke or maybe finish somebody off, but it doesn't feel super high impact. Meanwhile, Fiddlesticks is one of those champions that kind of just feels like a special minion until he has ult. Yeah, he can fear you away, and I'm not trying to downplay his effect. He is super effective, but that damage! See, sometimes all it takes is a special minion.
Yeah, you hate to see that. In range of the turrets, throws a hook right down the middle. Perfect field goal attempt. Sadly, that's not what you want to do in League of Legends.
Nope, 3 points is not enough points.
No. And in range of the turrets is really bad. Oh, hold on here.
All right.
All right,
Just
out.
let him go.
And that is why the Graves is great. Trundle. As you can see, more trading going on. A lot of kills going on very quickly as soon as we get back into the game. But yeah, big mistake by Sheep there going for that hook in range of all that other stuff. Now they're going to try and get aggressive onto the Heimer, but he has ult still. All right, maybe not.
I think Heimer wasn't anticipating the Caitlyn trap from the teleport.
Was he still 5, actually? I thought he dinged 6 after that bot lane fight, but I guess not.
Oh, we'll see in 1 second. Nope, he's still level 5.
All right, that's an interesting TP. Quickly gets punished for doing that one.
Just quick thing about teleporting into somebody like Caitlyn, you really got to look out because the trap is guaranteed.
Yep. Unlucky, though. Thresh grabs his 2nd kill of the game.
Not the guy you necessarily want them on, but hey, you're getting the support ahead. Maybe you're going to get more gold income coming in there soon. 2,300 to 1,700 compared to his opponent. He's rolling in the money. He's got as much money as the jungler.
He's almost an 80 carry. He's 500 behind the Caitlyn. As we see the Rumble ulting a wave. Got to think that was for some gold he wanted, not actual fear of getting dove there. Because there was not actually that much pressure up on the top side. And we'll have to see if Echo Fox's bot lane can kind of stabilize after some of these mistakes. Mabry has no sums. The Sheep now, both quote-unquote marksmen, bot lane carries have their flashes still available.
But hey, with those ultis coming online, we can see some crazy stuff. Again, Mabry is in full Fiddlesticks mode now. He has that big playmaker. Cake also, with this Heimerdinger, you've got that multi-hit grenade. The explosion zones overlap with each other slightly, and you can actually hit the same person multiple times with it.
Yeah. There's a lot of intricacies to that pick that we've covered in quite good detail. As we see, Yasui bait out the exhaust before canceling that out. Gets that cooldown out and trade for his ultimate. And might still have some threat here with his E coming back up and Ignite available.
Always like to see the Ignite picks on the mid laners. Makes it extra spicy, especially ever since it got a little bit of a buff a couple patches ago. We'll see if Potluck can find anything hanging around the mid lane here. Not really. Benji eats a lot of damage there from the full 5 rocket surprise. Cake fires that one off, hits his mark.
Yeah, and Cake has been actually shooting this a little differently than what we see most Heimers do. What a lot of Heimers do is go for a wider spread in hope of tagging both people because that'll actually deal more overall damage. As we see Zig almost face check some trouble. But Cake is actually going for the 5-man snipe explicitly onto the Caitlyn. It's a little bit different of a look, but he's actually landed a bunch of them. So as much as you might say, oh, that's not how the other Heimers are playing it, he's making it work for himself.
Exactly. It's can you pull this off? Because it is difficult. It's a very small pinpoint area, and if you just miss slightly, you're not getting much damage whatsoever. But if you can actually dial those in and wait for the moment when Benji's going to be in a spot that you know you can aim at, it works out pretty well.
Yeah, I actually, having played Heimer a couple times, I struggled way more with getting the good wide ones because you want it to cover the whole lane while still being angled at a target. It's actually kind of hard to do that while moving around, whereas I found just throwing it at the guy a lot easier because you just put your mouse on him and press W.
It makes more sense.
Right.
I played Heimerdinger after a couple beers one time in an A-Ram, and I shot the rockets backwards trying to do the widespread thing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's actually hard to aim the widespread. You think is like, well, you're just hitting anything in lane. It's easier. But to do it well so that it actually does tag both people is, I think, I found it personally a little bit harder. So
props to the people who can land those right, that know the distance from your character to spread the angle in the way that they need to.
Yeah, see, the spread ones are pretty hard. The 5-man poke ones, while it's a lot better for that single target damage, it's not necessarily stronger for winning your laning phase.
Nintendude is just ulting these waves every chance he gets on the Rumble for having that reprieve to go back to base and shop.
I mean, it makes some sense. He's just trying to survive the landing phase versus the Jace. We see the all-in
Oh,
buy.
speaking of survival, there's no way out there for Benji. Nice attack, 2v2 from Cake, and maybe make that one happen. Speaker comes around from the side, looking to finish Sheep off if he can, but the control ward spots him out, makes it so he can't succeed in that one. Means he's just going to walk right on up here, take the Gromp instead.
Nice all-in by Echo Fox bot lane. They got it onto Benji, who still had his flash up the entire time, just showing how quick that can be. Maybe he didn't even need to use his own flash, so end up right on top of him. Chain CC with that fear. And now, with the help of Spica, they're going to be able to take the first turret of the game. The bot lane snowball working out just fine, and because of all those ulted waves up on the top side, it's not really possible for Golden Guardians to answer back.
Yep, Spica on this Graves, a great champion to have just show up, pour some extra damage into that turret, make sure you get that bonus gold from that objective, puts them up 1,000. As Golden Guardians say, all right, bottom side of the map's a little bit messed up right now. Let's look towards the top side, see if we can grab this Rift Herald for ourselves. And it looks like there won't be interference there from Echo Fox Academy. Yusui's going back to base, and it's just an efficient farm path for Spica on the bottom part of the map right now.
Yeah, more than willing to take that small objective loss to keep their tempo up. And you see the Heimer currently running down to mid lane. It looks like they're actually going to want to keep Rumble in the side lane and put Aurelia in the other side lane and start going for a 1v1. Now Nintendo in trouble, though.
Oh, Sheep, if you can manage to find that death sentence, this is going to be real trouble for Nintendo. Zig doesn't have the mana to really chase after him just yet, so they'll get the flash, but nothing else.
Yeah, a little risky by Nintendo, kind of far up with no vision up in the top side, and obviously Golden Guardian's bot lane not really showing down there. He does get collapsed on. He heard the Rift Herald right as the gank started, so it's not like he had any extremely obvious forewarning, but they get the flash out. Nintendo's able to live, and will continue to probably ult another wave right here. Or he'll run forward.
Ooh, maybe this was the right time to ult the wave, my friend. Decides to throw out that ulti on top of Benji and Sheep. Make sure they stay low enough. Is this the damage? Nope, not today.
Not today.
Barely took down the shield.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Sheep not kind of commit to that. They knew he had no flash. I believe he was in range for a flash E, and they probably could have got that kill.
You don't even have to hit the death sentence.
No, I don't think so. So I'm surprised to see them call off that kill attempt, as Nintendo kind of used the ult to dissuade them and scared Sheep off. But either way,
Nintendo also channeled the teleport.
Yeah,
for
did I see that right?
Yeah, he channeled the teleport for a split second, said, oh wait, it's 3 guys and I don't have flash, and then immediately canceled.
That's a bit of a brain fart for sure.
It's actually only the second worst teleport in the game, though. As mid lane right now, the damage comes through, and Bob's just going to be taken down. Spica grabbing the kill onto him. As Zig looks for the counterattack now. Spica's going to be taken pretty low here, but it's Zig who ends up disarmed, going too far forward. And Yusui grabs the kill onto him. Meanwhile, Cake finding himself in a 1 versus 2 here in the top part of the map, trying to get his way back through his own jungle. Benji trying to provide some of the damage here, but Golden Guardians say, nope, get out of here.
Yeah, not quite sure how Cake ended up on that side. Looked like he kited left after the Zig TP was coming in to cut it off. Zig had an unfortunate flash where he flashed and still got hit by the Aurelia ultimate, so he got disarmed, and also that allowed Aurelia to have another mark, so Yusui could go in once again. Cake running left, no backup from his team as they collapse in from the top side after taking that turret. So despite that dive, looking pretty good for Echo Fox at the start, gets traded out, and the mid lane turret still up.
Gold's still pretty close between these two squads. Picking up an Earth Drake for yourself. Really late first Drake, honestly. 15 minutes into the game. I mean,
a lot more action-oriented.
Yeah. It's just one of those types of games where it just doesn't seem that appealing. I mean, what are you going to do with a Mountain Drake that early into the game anyway?
Yeah, so here we see the dive again. Mabry gets another good ult over the wall. The chain CC kind of coming in, forcing the flashes. And then Cake just wants to run away to the left side because he saw the TP coming in and tries to get the recall off. And then, yeah, the collapse on the top side just cuts him off. So it makes sense what he was going for. Just unfortunate that the enemy team was already collapsing. Cake will go down, trade that out 2 for 1. Still comes out ahead for Echo Fox, but it did cost them a fair amount going for that play.
Nice for Golden Guardians there, too. It worked out just so. Cake had 50 HP left as Benji got an auto attack range. We're able to donate that one away to the 80 carry, put the gold exactly where they wanted it. This game not even 500 apart as the turrets are tied up 1-1. Golden Guardians, 4 bodies, 5 bodies now here in the mid lane. They see Yusui in the top side. They summon the Rift Herald. They want to go after this turret. Cake down to about half HP. Remember, Heimerdinger is very, very vulnerable They can find the damage onto him. Speak is doing a good job.
Mabry's
Locking that
feeling
ace
it.
in the hole. Mabry wants to go in. Here we go into the middle of multiple people. Popping the stopwatch, keeping himself alive. But for how much longer? He's going to be deleted as the Rumble ulti comes in. A good trap to stop that from going up any further now as Golden Guardians lose their support.
Whoa.
But they find the counterattack now. Echo Fox in some serious heat as Yusui is going to be the target now. It looks like Golden Guardians have found everything they need. Man, they brought everything. The firepower was just there on the counter.
Yeah, Echo Fox was just a little too disjointed with their engage, despite all 3 members who had ultimates landing great ones. Mabry ended up in the middle of 5 people with a stopwatch going off, but there was no follow-up. You're going to see him kick it off very well at the start of this fight, but the Rumble's just a little bit too far away to layer his ultimate on top while he's Zanya. So he dies right as that ultimate comes off, not forcing people to stay on top of it. And then no one else is here to follow up after Yasui's ultimate, and a nice play by Sheep stops him from trying to reset through that fight. And then as everyone charged forward, they lost track of the Orianna ball. They're going to drop as well. Now Benji's able to kite forward. Yasui's almost able to turn this with a big 3-man E, and if he could have got some Qs off, maybe he can start resetting, but not the case there as he gets dropped. And Golden Guardians kind of answer back despite having a bit of a rough laning phase. Feels like they're starting to control the game with a stronger 5v5 team comp.
When you've got some wombo combo potential like that with the Orianna setting up the shockwave and everybody else just piling the damage on, sometimes that's all you need. One Ori ult, one game. This champion can completely decide things on her own, but at the same time, if she gets caught in a spot like this, she's not going to make a lot happen. Shutdown credit goes over to Speed.
Just one of the problems with Orianna in the side lane for a lot of people is that she does not have any good defensive escape tools. She's annoying when, you know, she can just kite back into her turret, but if the turret's very far behind her, gets cut off easily and they find that kill. Now it's Nintendo's turn to get cut off.
Nintendo trying to turn this one around though. He says, hey Benji, who's hunting who here? Benji gets himself away over the wall in time. Doesn't want to go back any closer to Nintendo. And honestly, Nintendo makes these ace in the hole casts just look completely unimpressive.
Shielding champions in general
Yeah.
are a big feels bad man to the Caitlyn players out there.
Just, you aim this bullet, it's got the cool crosshair thing above your head. It looks like, all right, we're going to zero in and find this big shot, and then it barely breaks.
Oh, we got a TP flank coming in here. Jace walking, ending up behind them, and then they walk the other way.
Disengage.
Yeah. The ring around the rosy disengage, a classic.
All right, both teams say, all right, let's go after the Scuttle Crab. By both teams, I mean it's only going to be Golden Guardians because you can see Echo Fox moving themselves up into the top side as well, only leaving Nintendo down there on the bottom side.
They want the brush bait, though.
They want to go after Bobchin yet again. They really hate this Orianna.
They are punishing him for that shockwave last time. Never kill us again with that. And it was actually a nice ultimate by Mabry there because he put it on the fat part of the wall and it puts you on the other side. So he actually ended up in the exact escape path Bobchin probably would have wanted to go, which is a really nice ultimate there, and it secures them a second turret.
I believe the rule of Fiddlesticks ult is you can cast it over any terrain as long as the very end of the range is over halfway through the terrain.
It's the same as a flash, where
Yeah.
if you get the flash over the halfway point of the wall, you will end up on the other side of the wall.
It's like math. Half rounds up to a hole.
Yeah, actually, that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. Nintendo farming up the bottom side in the meantime. Zig will get himself back. Nintendo doing a good job there, just interrupting that, costing them a couple of extra seconds. Nintendo has fallen behind a little bit in terms of farm. You can see the Black Cleaver on the side of Zig is his first item. That good bruiser pickup there first and foremost, going for some lethality afterwards, likely in the form of Dustblade, Ghostblade, all that good stuff.
It's going to be a bit of a backtrack, but as I was thinking more about it, I'm not actually sure what happens in the game if you are precisely 50%.
Probably rounds up.
I don't know.
50 rounds up. It's math.
Yeah, but you're 50 between 2 points.
5 rounds up to 10. You don't have to be 5.1.
Yeah, but that's... Never mind.
I'm serious.
I'm curious.
I passed math, Mark.
No,
I
I'm
know
not saying your
rule.
math understanding's wrong. I'm wondering about the game, if that's how the game thinks as well, because the game could easily be like, well, if you're between 2 points, just stick them back at the point that you are closer to. I don't know.
If math class doesn't pay off for this, then I'm not using math class for actually anything.
If you are any
that
part,
feels bad.
if you are any part above 50% in the game, then you will round up. Right. In math, if you're dead 50, you round up. But I don't know if that's true in the game. If you're dead on 50% perfectly between the wall on the side you want to go to and the side you don't want to go to, I don't know what the game does. It probably just has some weird kind of like
My money is on
sorting problem. Anyways, you gotta fight
that, or just a big spaghetti code. And I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Zig's getting a solo kill, maybe.
Nice Sonya's Hourglass use there, keeping Nintendo alive. Popping the shield at the end means he won't be sniped down either. Echo Fox Academy now looking to take the chance to go after the Baron for themselves. Mabry goes over the wall with the ulti, still looking to stop these guys. Pollock over the wall, secured though by Spica. That's a pretty big pickup there for the side of Echo Fox Academy, who now have to try to get everyone else away. A lot of damage going to be coming out from those turrets. If Golden Guardians look to chase this one any further, they'll grab the crab afterwards, but what's a crab to a Baron? Nice call there from Echo Fox.
Yeah, great play by them. You saw Zig going hard on the bot side. Nintendo, who had the TP advantage, I believe, was not able to join in on that one, which is exactly what Zig needed to do for his team there. But unfortunately for them, the rest of Echo Fox did a great job zoning away. Mabry goes over the wall, and they tried to get the stun on Pollock, who still got into the pit, just didn't win the 50-50 smite, and died as a result.
Trying to get himself away with the rest of Golden Guardians Academy now as Nintendo looks to go in and find the damage onto multiple people. He's going to go down, but they will find the kill onto Benji as well. 1 for 1 here. Echo Fox Academy looking to see if maybe they can find anybody else. Bobchin knows to not try to stop, make any kind of a greedy back. They really want to kill him a lot this game, and they are not going to stop anytime soon. Full retreat on the side of the Golden Guardians. Spica sticks around to pick up the Cloud Drake for the side of Echo Fox. The other members heading down the mid lane into the tier 2 to pick this one up for themselves. That will be turret number 5 for the Echo Fox squad.
Yeah, nice by them. And while they're doing that, Spica stays around the jungle and picks that up. They're going to go for their resets as they wait for Nintendo to respawn before setting up the push yet again. They still have 2 minutes on the Baron buff up. Inner's taken in both the top and mid lanes, so maybe they'll prioritize those and hope to break down one of the inhibitors. Or maybe they'll go top and bot. We'll have to see. A lot of options here for Fox, who find themselves in control of this game after that Baron. 3,500 gold up about.
Feels like a good lead, a good place to be in 23 minutes into this game. But Golden Guardians aren't down and out just yet. They've got some pretty big items coming online. Ghostblade completed for the Jace. You've got your Zhonya's Hourglass on your Orianna. Caitlyn has 2 items. Of course, we talked earlier about how Stormrazor kind of provides this 1-item power spike for these crit 80 carries that used to have to sit around and be like, okay guys, wait till I have Eye-Edge, Shiv, and Rapid Fire Cannon, then we can do stuff. But they're still going to have to play the fight pretty well to survive against this against this Echo Fox squad, that just keeps finding ways to go in with Mabry Fiddlesticks ults and make things happen.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout out to him. He was one of the people who brought out the Fiddlesticks in his first game. I think he died like 8 times in that game, but was always giving his body up for play.
It doesn't matter. As long as you make the play happen, who cares if you lose Fiddlesticks?
And there you see him once again flanking around the side. He's always looking for the flank. Very aggressive player. And Echo Fox 5-manning here on this bot lane turret.
See if they can break this line. They've still got 45 seconds. Rounding down to 50.
Yusui's breaking off to the mid lane potentially. They're playing pretty far back actually and allowing Echo Fox clear these Golden Guardians clear these waves well. Felt like they were maybe concerned about a TP flank or something. I'm not quite sure why they were sitting so far back.
And this is what I talked about at the end of last game, what I like to see from 100 Thieves, where they were ahead and they just made the push to win the game to break the base with the 1 minute of Baron buff that they had remaining. We'll see if Echo Fox wants to go for a similar thing. 15 seconds left on this buff. Yusui's going to pressure the mid lane. Everybody else here in the bottom side. Mabry does have Fiddlesticks ultimate available. Everything actually available here for this side of Echo Fox Academy, aside from a couple of summoners. Mid lane turret goes down. Yusui makes sure of that. And that means you've got some open ground to fight on. Nice big accelerated shock blast will take some health off of those meters from the side of Echo Fox Academy. Golden Guardians will hold the line for now. Baron finally expires. No inhibitors are down, but again, they did lose that middle inhibitor turret.
Yep, so call it a win still for Echo Fox. Siege on the bot lane, providing more of a distraction for Yusui to take down that top side one. And now we can see the beauty of Aurelia farming.
Farming mini game. Dash around everything.
Hey man, I like it with the Tiamat. You see a lot of ripples and things dying. It looks cool.
It does look cool. I'm agreeing with you.
It sounded tongue-in-cheek, Captain Flowers.
It's just one of those things, man. It looks funny.
We'll see if...
but funny in a good way.
Yeah. See if Echo Fox can find something to do until the next Baron buffs up. Cloud Drake not coming up for a little bit. Could be one of those games that stalls out because they don't have the best force if Mabry is not finding angles over walls.
Yeah, I mean, if Mabry doesn't find a way to start things off, you pretty much have to have Yusui go in on Irelia, and that's a very soft engage. Or maybe just have a max range grenade that nobody steps out of the way of from Cake. It's the Mabry show in terms of getting these going, I would agree.
Yeah, and with the only objective up being that inhib in the mid lane that you're really going to siege for, it's kind of hard to find a surprising angle out in the middle of a field. Or
Hey guys, don't stand on the other side of this wall. I'm not here.
Yeah, a lot harder to surprise people that way. And so no surprise, they're just kind of slowly setting up a 1-3-1.
It'll work out pretty well for now. You still got to be careful about that Jace. Zig should be able to address anyone that comes near him in a 1-versus-1. Yusui's Irelia could be pretty problematic for him if she can manage to get those resets on the jump. Be able to proc the Blade Surge multiple times. Echo Fox Academy will clear out some of the vision as they move through the enemy jungle. And doing this is always important. We highlighted this during the 100 Thieves versus TSM game where the Thieves messed up in the bottom part of the map, but especially when you got Fiddlesticks on your team, when the difference between having him just break the fight and having him not do anything except fear a single person is whether or not he can get that ult off from a good angle. It's all about clearing the vision.
Yep, they've done a good job of that, sweeping out a ton of wards on the top side. Baron's about a minute out, so they're setting themselves up beforehand to find these angles. All summoners are available now on both teams after the game slowed down a fair amount from that Baron force.
And this is, again, I want to go back to sort of that feeling of, well, what do we do now? We don't think there's anything we can do. Wait for second Baron.
Yeah, and I can kind of understand where they're coming from. Like we said, their comp is not going to be great about sieging that open inhib. They don't really have great ranged auto attackers or anything. Just one of those times that sometimes you hit a lull in the game. You just have to hope that this wasn't such a big one that Caitlyn has now caught up.
Lull with 2 L's, not 1, Twitch chat. The one with 1 L happened with the teleport.
Yeah, there were some lulls this game for sure. This is a different kind of lull.
This is one of those moments where you're just sort of waiting for that big moment that's going to start things off, whether it's a Thresh Hook or a Fiddlesticks initiation. Remember, the Golden Guardians are still not completely out here. This is the man that I'm keeping my eyes on the most in Zig. This is the guy that I believe has the most agency on the Golden Guardian squad because he's the one who still has a say in what happens around him in that 1-versus-1. Echo Fox trying to continue to push here in the mid lane as 4, while Zig will take the turret there in the bottom side. That's going to bring Golden Guardians up to a 5 count in those. Echo Fox moving themselves over towards the Baron pit, though. It is live now, and their team does do it very quickly with the Heimerdinger.
They have to be careful as... here they go.
Maybe...
No, we got interrupted
by the pillar! As the Orianna shockwave comes through, Mabry just gets eviscerated. Potluck continuing to try to find the damage onto Speak, they'll beat him down. Cake tries to survive in the stasis. He'll be taken incredibly low. Benji grabbing the kill onto him. Yusui goes for the stun, manages to find the kill onto that. Orianna does Golden Guardians. But Echo Fox still with 2 members standing, trying to make something happen out of it. Golden Guardians still 4 men strong. That went horribly for Echo Fox.
Yeah, that
great
was
pillar from Potluck.
That was a great pillar to start things out, and then from there, the Golden Guardians were able to find a big shockwave as well. So it was a bit of a 1-2 punch between an interruption on the enemy team's engage and then finding a good one of your own. Here we see they're now baiting the Baron buff. Intended Scryer's Orb too late.
Oh, nice! Exactly the wombo combo you want to see right there. Pillar into the death sentence, no way out of it. Golden Guardians say, all right, now that we got rid of that guy, let's go home.
That's not what I thought they were going to say.
Me either. I changed that sentence halfway through.
Yeah, I mean, they are respawning, and you see coming out with the base with home guards potentially could be a problem for them. I wouldn't mind seeing them still being aggressive, but I guess they're thinking if we're starting to turn the game around, this could be very good. So let's take a look at a couple things here. One, nice shockwave to instantly blow Mabry up. Cake dropped his ult without dropping his turrets first. And one of the most important things we always talk about are beam combos. And he gets no beam charge on either of those turrets throughout the fight due to the fact that he dropped his ult kind of instantly out of nowhere. And then after that, the focus onto Orianna found the kill, but Orianna had kind of already done her job, and the 3-item Caitlyn was still available to kind of free hit and find some more kills. So like we said, this game stalling out, that lull may be being a bit of a problem here.
Yeah, Benji's getting scary. And when you look at the comparison between the two teams, I mean, if this ends up going to be some 50-minute game and one side has a 6-item AD carry and the other side doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people say about Heimer is he falls off after about 2.5, 3 items. If you don't have a firm control of the game 33 minutes in, 35 minutes in, a typical marksman will outperform you. You factor in a typical mid laner, a typical front liner, and suddenly Golden Guardian's superior team comp becomes a big issue.
Especially with Ziggs still being able to run wild in these side lanes. Almost Flame Horizoning Nintendo now. Just 2 CS shy of that one. Has the Maul now Mortius as well to make sure he continues to shine in this split push scenario. And he's just going to keep committing towards that bottom side. Teleport available if he needs to join the rest of the squad from Golden Guardians up here in the northern part of the map.
Yeah, kind of roaming around right now, not really effectively pressuring. I think he's going for a flank on Jace.
Problem is he can't initiate this himself. Somebody else from Golden Guardians has to go for it. He's there on the front line, goes to the distance, finds his way on an Nintendo. Shockwave makes its way onto one. Mabry goes into the fight, popping the Crow Storm as Sheep and Zig will be separating. But there's your killing spree for Benji. This is this guy I'm talking about, the Caitlyn in the scaling. Echo Fox is the team that actually lost one of their dudes, but they're the team continuing to push.
Yeah, there was a ton of cooldowns blown instantly onto Nintendo, including the Orianna ult, who only hit a one-man shockwave, I think. So the combo wasn't quite as strong as we had seen in some of the team fights that Golden Guardians was winning. And now they've lost vision control.
Echo Fox is going to find their counterattack now. Disarm down onto Benji, who gets himself away. The Kale's Crucible there, coming out from Sheep, making sure that AD carry stays safe.
Out of nowhere, we got a
What is
tense
going
game.
on?
Yeah. It's a bit of an interesting fight with the flanking Jace. I thought he was going to keep split pushing because he has TP advantage.
Right.
So I thought he was going to try and pressure the map.
Advantages.
I thought he was going to try and pressure the map. Instead, they go for a random flank, and luckily Sheep hits the hook, so it doesn't look too silly. But now, Echo Fox is just hard pressuring down this Baron buff.
Yeah, remember the Baron speed we talked about earlier with Heimerdinger? Turns out that is a very real threat, and Echo Fox just say, all right, 2-man Baron, easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 easy. They've got Baron buff number 2 for themselves now, which takes this game that you said all of a sudden appeared very close and could all of a sudden make it not as close.
Yeah, so Sheep is going to land this hook right onto Nintendo. That's all great. They only get one person with the ultimate. They drop both of the other AoE ultimates on Echo Fox's side instantly. I'm not even sure where Heimer used his ult in that whole situation. I didn't really see it. I don't know. There was a lot of AoE ultimates all dropping at once.
A bunch of stuff.
Most of them did not find key targets. Mabry only ran dying after he came out of his Zhonya's, of course. But now, because Echo Fox gets the Baron, they get to keep pressuring, and if they can start breaking these inhibitors, they might be able to generate enough of a map advantage that they can offset Golden Guardian's split push and team fight advantage.
I think it's worth pointing out that on the side of Echo Fox, 3 members have Hourglass, the other 2 have Guardian Angel. But if you're going to go up against that much itemization meant to avoid dying, Caitlyn's one of the best champions to have because of your ability to place the trap either underneath the golden statue or on top of the res point, to make it so as soon as they come back, they're instantly stunned and you're just already priming them with the headshot. But Golden Guardians has to mount a hell of a defense here now. Yet again, it's time to stall the Baron.
You see the triple, or the pentas drop of the traps there to try and make it very difficult to walk up. And it should be very difficult because there's no real range to take these down. Cake can kind of just drop a turret in range and it gets a couple shots off. The big thing doing all the work is that Baron buff cannon minion up in the back line, but he finally gets taken out as well.
That 5 trap line, I still have nightmares of that from back when Caitlyn Meta was the name of the game and every game was 55 minutes. Not really, I'm exaggerating obviously, but every game felt 55 minutes because it all turned into Caitlyn stalling everything.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, Echo Fox is doing a good job splitting them up. They've almost taken the top turret, almost taken the bot turret. The mid inhibitor is also at half. Everything's slowly getting whittled down, and still a minute and a half left on this Baron.
A little bit of hope coming out from Cake there with the rockets onto Benji. Topside Yusui will continue pressuring onto that inhibitor turret as well. These health bars, a slow whittling away, will likely be fast enough as Echo Fox will only need a couple more attacks onto each one of these structures in each lane to bring them down. Benji will continue stepping forward, just trying to hold them off as long as humanly possible. The auto attacks into the minions are not very convincing right now. Cake moves forward, finds the slow from the grenade. The rockets are a bit off on the angle, and with the Heimerdinger ultimate down, that might be a sign for Golden Guardians to look to make something happen here. Mabry goes into the stasis before he can do anything with the ultimate. It just gets killed. Benji cuts backwards as Nintendo falls now as well.
The map pressure, though, Captain Flower.
The map pressure is more than enough. The inhibitors all fall. And a tide of Echo Fox Blue washes over the red team base. There is no way to defend against this continued push. At least it seems so. They'll try to heal up. They'll try to make it happen. Echo Fox continues looking to find this game-winning fight, and they will do that right here. They'll push their opponents back. They'll look to take this Nexus. They continue it for now. How much longer will it take to put the final nails in this coffin? Only moments, as they will defeat Golden Guardians and take their final win of the split.
A couple hiccups towards the end of that game, but Echo Fox are able to close that one out cleanly off the back of their bot lane pressure. A really nice performance there out of Mabry, finding a lot of those fights for his team, as well as just having a good team focus on objectives. They were able to get both Baron buffs this game.
And the Barons were huge.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they were struggling to close that game out, but because they have that extra kind of 6-man on their team with the Baron buff, they're able to take all the inhibitors down, win a couple fights, and then it's just too hard for the enemy team to wave clear.
And earlier in previous games when we were talking about teams knowing their damage potential for things like a Katarina solo kill or something along those lines, also knowing, hey, you have Heimerdinger and Graves, and you can kill Baron with 2 people in 15 seconds, is big, because that's what got them that second Baron and prevented that game from devolving into 65-minute fiesta where we both just kill each other constantly.
Yeah, and that's definitely kind of how it felt like the game was going, with both teams kind of A-ramming in the mid lane, foregoing their side lane split push pressure that they had, and then as well as a lot of the fights not starting super cleanly, and didn't feel like either team was getting decisive wins. Did feel like we were in potentially a stall-out situation.
Well, let's take a look at a couple of the decisive plays from that game. 17 minutes in, Golden Guardians Academy found a 4-for-1 in the mid lane.
It all starts out with Mabry finding what should be a good engage, but the rest of the team not on the same page. The Rumble ult, he was too far away, so it came in a little late. Then Yusui ult comes in, and it's all a little disjointed. They do find the 1 kill, but then the big 3-man shockwave, instantly finding a kill and chunking out the rest on the side of Echo Fox, allowing the turnaround, the J speed up, the Ori speed up, putting everyone in range to make sure that they can't get away. Get that last kill there, and out of nowhere, it feels like Golden Guardians might have turned that game around after having some rough laning phases down the bot side.
And Golden Guardians had multiple moments like that throughout the game where it looked like they were still holding on. They were never in control, but they weren't just slowly getting beaten down. They kept things in a fair sort of back and forth where you didn't know who was really going to win until, of course, we already talked about that second Baron that went over to the side of Echo Fox Academy, and then they set up this 1-1-3 correctly to find the Baron push for the win.
Yeah, you just can tell that there's not enough reliable engage on the side of Golden Guardians to kind of force a fight. You're praying for a fresh hook onto a primary target. They're not giving that up. And slowly the Baron buff minions are doing their job. You see all these inhibitors working down. And even this engage, whiffing that ult doesn't matter at all. Even though Mabry's going to get hooked here and going to get a ult off that he's just going to die right after because it pops his Zanya's first. Doesn't matter. You have the map advantage in your favor. These 2 kills going away are not going to really mean anything, even though it's a 3v4 at this point. Hey, 3 lanes of super creeps are going to be coming in just a second after they take this bottom lane inhibitor.
And do a lot of work.
And like we said, not much engage on Golden Guardians, so they can't really use that man advantage. And bit of a mountainous landscape of a gold graph.
And you can see it almost even went back into Golden Guardians territory there towards the end, but right as it was hitting that low point, right as it was nearing the even amount, it's when it spikes right back up because they grabbed the Baron. So critical for Echo Fox with that timing there to make sure they could secure the win, keep that momentum going, and not have to go to that super late game nightmare 6-item Caitlyn scenario we were talking about. But we've got one more game coming up for y'all tonight. After the break, Optic Academy takes on FlyQuest in the final match of the regular Academy season. Do not touch that browser. We'll be right back. Just point and click that same exact spot,
he's
but
late.
now, oh no, first blood.
They're going to try and get aggressive onto the Heimer, but he has ult still. All right, maybe not.
to stop that from going up any further now as Golden Guardians lose their support.
Whoa.
But they find the counterattack now. Echo Fox in some serious heat. Mabry just gets eviscerated